Hi guys, welcome to my base building phase for runners. So this is a Pilates course that is going to take you through exercises that are going to help to build core strength and improve your mobility and flexibility, ready for your peak training phase of your running program. You can fit this in seamlessly with any running training. It's simple, easy to do exercises that you can fit into any part of your day. Let's get going. I'm now going to take you through a myofascial release tennis ball roll on the bottom of your foot. So I'm using a spiky massage ball, but you could use a tennis ball or even a lacrosse ball. Just going to roll the ball for 15 seconds under your toes and the ball of your foot. Then you're going to move it back into the middle of your foot for another 15 seconds from side to side. And then finally, you're going to just push the foot forward and slide it back along that ball. And we're going to do that for about 30 seconds, but do it for a period of time that feels right for you. So no more than a minute, somewhere between like 20 and 20 seconds and 60 seconds would be fine. And then we'll swap to the other foot. And this is just going to help to rejuvenate the arches of your feet and get your feet working really well, get them sitting in better alignment. And that has massive consequences for the rest of the kinetic chain. So thinking about where your knee sits, where your pelvis sits, and working further up into the back. And then once you feel like you've done enough on the bottom of your feet, just going to gently come back into our rest position. I'm now going to take you through some squats with a raised heel. Now, if you find this too challenging to do with a raised heel, then please leave your heels on the floor, work on that leg power, and then come back to trying these with a raised heel. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by coming into a wide stance, so coming to about shoulder width apart with your legs, keeping your pelvis underneath you. And then we're going to take your pelvis backwards, bring your chest forward slightly and come down into that squat position. Trying to use a full range of movement, so try and go as low as you can. As you can see from my little wobbles, this is not easy when you are on the balls of your feet only and not letting those heels touch the floor. If at any point you need to, just bring those heels down for a little rest. This is going to work into your calves, your quads, your glutes and your hamstrings. So really working on those power leg muscles. Really seeing if you can come down into a deep squat. Keeping that balance, using your core muscle. So thinking about pulling your hip bones together, pulling your ribs down towards your hips. Keeping that core switched on to help with the balance here. Trying to improve that range of movement every time that you come down lower, always holding it there for a second before coming back up. And then once you've finished your set, just coming into your rest pose. I'm now going to take you through one of my favourite exercises. We're going to do shoulder bridge with some leg abduction. So you're going to tie the band about a hand's width away from your knee joint whilst your feet and your knees are close together. Coming down onto the mat, you're going to bring your feet out as wide as you can without feeling like you're already pulling into the band. Making sure your pelvis is in neutral, arms are just resting on the floor. So palm up if you feel like you're going to push your hands down into the mat. Going to take an inhale at the bottom and then we're going to exhale and gently roll through each vertebrae one at a time up into our bridge position. The weight is in your shoulders, not in your neck. And then we're going to push your knees out into the band and we're doing 5 pulses. As you push out into the band, keeping your toes planted on the floor so you can feel the work in your glutes and your hamstrings. And then we're going to gently roll back down. As you pulse and as you roll back down, you can breathe however works for you. So I just want you to inhale to prepare at the bottom and then exhale, roll up, and then breathing in a rhythm that works for you. It's really important that we strengthen our hip abductors, particularly the glute medius, because they play a crucial role in maintaining proper knee alignment. So this is a really good exercise for just focusing on building that power in the side of your leg, which is going to help, like we just said, with the knee tracking. The other reason this is really important is because strong abductors, so the muscles in the outside of your leg, help to counteract the repetitive nature of that forward and back motion, which can lead to muscle imbalance. So this is a great way of kind of adding in something that isn't forward and back, because it's obviously side to side movement. So it's going to help to build muscle strength in a different plane of movement, which is key to good muscle balance. I'm doing 5 pulses at the top in this video, but if you needed to change that to either less or to more, that would be fine. This is one of those options where you can hit the pause button if you need to, add in a few extras if you feel that's right for you. What I want you to watch for is that as you are taking your knees out, your pelvis doesn't drop. So if you feel like you're sinking down, don't add any more in, maybe take a few out. Keep that pelvis lifted so you can feel those glutes and hamstrings holding and maintaining that nice bridge position from your knee through your hip to your shoulder. Should be a nice straight line. If you can do this next to a mirror, great, because you can see that position and make sure that you're keeping that great position as you push out. So there's kind of 2 functions of this exercise. Once you're finished, you're going to come back into your rest pose, taking a full body stretch on the way. I'm now going to take you through a Superman curl up. So we're going to come into a box position. Knees are under your hips, wrists are under your shoulders, spine stays in neutral. We're going to extend one arm and leg out away from the midline. Hold it there for an inhale, and then we're going to exhale, and we're going to curl up into the middle, bringing your chin towards your chest and hugging your knee into your chest. Going to exhale and extend that arm and leg back out again. If you're adding in the breathing for this, we're inhaling on our pauses, exhaling, engaging our core and pelvic floor when we are moving. So we're stabilizing that movement with your core. This is a great movement for all the muscles in the back side of your body. This is going to help to build strength in those back muscles, especially to help keep you more upright and balanced. My suggestion is you do one side and then swap to the other, but if you wanted to alternate sides, you could do so. If you can't remember the breathing, just make sure you are breathing and try and think about pausing at each location. So stretched out arm and leg, pause, curl up into the middle, pause. As you stretch that arm and leg out, making sure your hips stay next to each other, don't let that hip hitch a little bit higher. So you'll notice as I stretch my leg out, I'm keeping my pelvis nice and stable. So my core is working hard to help with that movement. This is also a really good test of your proprioception, so where your body is in space. Also, working opposite sides of your body is a really key thing for developing good, rounded, balanced muscles. Switching on that core as you curl up and then as you stretch out. So we're thinking rib to hip connection, pulling those hip bones together. Once you've done both sides, coming into your rest pose. Our next move is the side plank. This is going to build strength in your shoulder and in your core muscles, specifically targeting the obliques. We're going to come up into a side plank position, and then you can place one foot directly over the top of the other, or you can keep it behind you if you need to. You could also do this just on your knees, so you'd be doing like a 3/4 side plank, which is going to be slightly less challenging if you need to just reduce the amount of time you're staying in this position, making sure your shoulder stays under your elbow. Once you've done one side, we're going to spin round and do the other. So elbow underneath your shoulder, pushing the weight up and into that arm, and then bringing that top arm and top leg in line, keeping your head in line with the rest of the spine. So make sure you're not lifting your head towards the top shoulder. And once you've done both sides, just coming back into our rest pose. We're now going to look at hip mobility. So you're going to bring your feet so they're wider than hip distance, and then you're going to slowly let both knees fall to one side and then the other, staying sat on your sit bones. If you find you're traveling, you can always just pick yourself up and bring your bum back so it's close enough to your feet for you to be able to do the move. Once you've done a few of these, we're just going to then bring our weight up onto the knees. So you need to make sure your knees are on your mat or on a soft surface, and you're just going to lift your weight up, push your pelvis forward, and take that nice stretch through the front of the hip. This is a really nice release for the muscles around the hip. It's also going to build strength in the core and muscles of the hip, glutes, hamstrings. And once you're finished, coming back to sitting however is comfy. I'm now going to take you through a really nice hip flexor stretch. So we're going to come onto our knees. So if you need to, rolling the mat up a little bit so that you've got more cushion under the knee joint is definitely a good idea. Then we're going to take a step forward with the left foot, keeping your pelvis underneath you, glutes engaged. We're going to push forward into that bent leg and keep your chest lifted. We're holding this stretch for around 30 seconds. We're then going to bring the right arm up and over and stretch out to the side. So you might find that this changes where you're feeling the stretch. You might get it more in your abs, around the side of your hip. That's absolutely fine. And again, we're holding this for 30 seconds. We're then going to change to the other side. So bring the right leg forward, keep your pelvis underneath you, push forward into that bent leg, feeling the stretch in the front of the hip for 30 seconds. And then bringing the left arm up and over so that you can feel the stretch in your side, maybe a bit in your abs, like I said, as well. Once you've held this for 30 seconds, we're going to return to our rest pose.